I'm very, very aware I'm between everyone in the room and lunch, which is an unenviable position for sure. Do we have the presentation here at all? Whilst we wait, just a quick introduction. So thanks a lot for being here. It's a pleasure for myself to be here as well. So I'm Youssef Fanous, as Anita has mentioned, from Sheesha Finance, and I am Head of Business Development and Marketing for Sheesha. So just quickly, whilst the presentation loads up, Sheesha Finance is a tokenized incubator and accelerator within the space. So we are a tokenized incubator and accelerator based out of the UAE, but working globally. So effectively what Sheesha Finance does is allows anyone of any size to invest in a diversified portfolio through one point of access, the Sheesha token. So all you have to do is purchase Sheesha, stake it on the platform, and then you receive the value of the underlying portfolio and the rewards from everything that we've done to support the projects. And I'll go into finer detail around what that is and what that means in due course. The reason I've got Saeed Al-Damarke there, who's our CEO and founder, is because, as we'll all know, as projects and as people who are interested in the space, team is pivotal and fundamental to the success of any project. And the clout that Saeed brings and the experience and the wealth of knowledge is, well, immeasurable, really. So he's come from a background in traditional finance in the Abu Dhabi Investment Authority, as well as sitting on a number of boards and seats for numerous crypto projects within the space, and has acted as in such capacities as the head of the MENA region for Casper Labs, amongst a whole host of other roles within the space. You'll see some very sure. You'll see some very, well, interesting phases there, which are the C-suite team, and myself included. I think the reason I put it here at the front and center of the slide again is how important team is, particularly within such a nascent industry and a space where credibility is still certainly being built out. So in terms of our backgrounds, you'll see a few familiar logos for sure at the bottom of the slide. If we can slightly scroll down, please, where we've had a lot of experience in the traditional finance space across a lot of names that are definitely household names within TradFi, as well as within other FTSE 100 companies across various different industries, allowing us to manage, execute, advise, and really lay the strategic groundworks for all of the projects that we do incubate and advise. In terms of our values, client-focused, I'm sure we see this everywhere, so I won't touch on too much detail there for sure. Ethics is definitely a key one, again, in such a space where we are seeing issues with credibility and nefarious activity. It's really about building the foundations of us as Sheesha Finance, but equally our portfolio of projects, of which we have 75 right now and continue to grow within the space. This links into transparency and continuous learning, and continuous learning isn't necessarily from us as individuals, but also for our projects, working very comprehensively with our partners and us as Sheesha Finance to grow this organization out. Please, next slide. So in terms of a few key successes that you can see here on the screen, we have closed fairly sizable LGE events on a number of different networks. So you'll see here just over 6 million on Ethereum, and about 3 million there on the BNB chain, as well as raising 4.5 million on the Polygon network through our Sheesha token. And I've touched on team and our credibility, and we can see here that we've received rewards from the AIBC for Investor of the Year, DeFi Project of the Year, again from AIBC, and we've got a lot more kind of accolades that I can talk to when we finish the presentation or take questions at the end. Please, next slide. In terms of some of the core features, I've touched on the staking platform already, which is really the linchpin for what we do at Sheesha Finance. Again, to reiterate, it's very innovative project and platform that allows people to really access a diversified portfolio without necessarily needing to go through the arduous processes of researching constantly, having sleepless nights, really trying to work out if a project is good from various standpoints, be that technical, the team, if it's a strong narrative within the space, how does it really stack up against other projects within the ecosystem and within the crypto industry. So we take the hard work out of that for anyone who wants to get involved by going through a due diligence process, ensuring that we research the projects thoroughly, making sure that we're comfortable with their team before bringing them into the ecosystem. And it doesn't stop there. From that, we build out the foundations of the projects in various capacities, be that marketing, legal, AML. We'll support with tokenomics. We'll ensure that really they start on a very strong foundation to be able to launch their projects, and even thereafter we'll support them after launch into their growth phase as well. So as well as that, we do really believe in community, especially within the crypto space, and it's really fundamental for any projects, and we're no different in that sense. So what we are trying to do is move into a DAO system, which should be by the latter end of the year or the beginning of next year, and that will allow the community, our investors, people who are interested within Sheesha Finance to actually have a real stake within what we do with our funding, the types of projects that we bring on board, and actually how we take the business forward. So we do currently do that through our community, but we're really taking this into making it a DAO structure to be able to execute more effectively and efficiently. An NFT lottery is another element in which we'll allow users to get access to multiple rewards and benefits within the Sheesha ecosystem, and allowing users to have a lot more utility around what we do as a project. And we do have Vesa, who may be here at some point as our in-house NFT artist. Please, next slide. I want to point out what we're doing here, and we'll dive into the challenges and why we've structured ourselves this way. But as an incubator, we've realized that there's a lot of fragmentation within the space. There's a lot of unprofessionalism with the services that allow projects to thrive and succeed. And we are building out a wraparound service with some of the 9 core elements and components you can see here. In terms of some key stats, we have over 300 strategic partners, and that's everything from exchanges, VCs and investors, launch pads, marketing agencies, legal firms. And that's really part of our wraparound service to ensure that if we can't do something in-house at Sheesha Finance, we provide top quality support within the ecosystem of those that have subject matter expert within the space. We are a team of over 60, embracing the true decentralized nature of the industry, and we are based globally with the hub out of Abu Dhabi and the UAE. We have a large and growing community, which you can see here, a fairly sizable investment portfolio of 50 million, which is growing. Actually now that's wrong, we've been growing even more, 6,500 token holders of Sheesha Finance and 75 projects in our portfolio. Next slide, please. Yes, please. So here you'll see a few of the challenges in the space, and I've touched on some of these elements already around fractionalization. So all of the services that we identified here as the wraparound services are really not that credible, firstly, for most parts, although there are, of course, some great players in the space, and there is fractionalization. So jumping in between these services to really have a holistic view is very inefficient, leading to inefficiencies in time and cost. There is a lot of as a nascent industry, there's a lot of learning to do, and we are that stopgap to allow projects to really understand the space, to curate their project, to make sure they're positioned in the best way possible to take them forward to launch and success thereafter. And as we're all aware of for sure, there is a reputational risk and issue within the space, and we build on that by creating such great connections of the 300 plus partners that we've mentioned already, and actually day in, day out, making sure that we serve our projects and our partners in the best way. Please, next slide. Here are a few numbers you can quickly glance at. I won't go into the detail necessarily, but there's a few of the partners that we have. And from these, I mean, we're in connection and touch with the top launch pads, the top exchanges, the top market makers and VCs as well. So I'm more than happy to run into the detail of that after this presentation. Next slide, please. I'm very conscious, Anita did flag the 2 minutes, the 2-minute gong, and I am in between you guys and lunch. So a lot of this I have touched on. I think we can go forward to the roadmap slide, please, just to give a view of what we'll be doing going forward and what our plans are. So here are a few of the bigger items that I've touched on. So we're hosting our own events, which will be here in Dubai to begin with. We're aggregating our token. We're launching a lot of our services that I've mentioned as the wraparound services across this timeline, and hopefully a lot sooner, with DAO functionality going to be implemented fairly soon. And thank you. That's it.